金是华尔街时刻，我是米少于超，现在为华尔街纽约证交所为您带来最前沿的财经资讯。本期我们来连线芝加哥商品交易所交易员分析大宗商品的市场行情。The U.S. dollar index bounces back from multi-year lows. It's a little bit of relief rally. Is it like to firm back up above the 93.75?
I don't expect explosive rallies in the dollar index. What we're seeing right now is a relief rally, both with slightly less tension with North Korea because the South Korean news agency did not have an accurate report when they said that there was going to be a launch prior to Saturday of an ICBM, as well as sort of a relief rally from Hurricane Irma not being as damaging and as deadly as the initial forecasts were. Initial forecasts were for about 200 billion US dollars in damage, and it looks like it's going to be about a quarter of that at this point. Damage estimates will be coming in for quite some time. So in terms of the rally, it was a rally of shorts covering. It wasn't necessarily people getting long the dollar. Now, we'll see what the Fed says in terms of the effects of the two hurricanes that we have to deal with. But until then, no, I don't expect an explosive rally in the dollar. This is a relief rally.
The steady information of a new higher trading range has established a higher trading range. Is it likely to send the gold prices closer to the 1400 level over the next several weeks?
Well, if you're comparing 1400 to 1300, I'd say 1300 is more likely, but I want to buy 1300. If we're talking about getting to 1400 before we get back to 1200, I think that is likely. Even though North Korea did not act on the story that was reported by the South Korean news agency, I don't think North Korea is going away. I don't think they're backing off their nuclear program. And while I don't think we're on the verge of conflict, gold is a long-term long.
Do you think the recent oil prices decline will prove to be a temporary as prices move closer to the $50 level, lifting from the lower end of the range?
Normally I have a prediction for oil prices, and I don't right now because the most important piece of data that we get in crude oil comes out every week. It's the Energy Information Administration's crude oil data. And the most important piece of that data is no longer supply and demand, it's refinery runs. And those refinery runs are going to be volatile. You're going to see them come online fairly quickly, and then you might see some shut down because of turnaround, switching from summer blend gasoline to winter blend, and because salt water does quite a bit of damage, and there still could be fires in some of these refineries. So we need to look at a different piece of data for the next couple of weeks, and I think that's going to cause crude to continue to trade in a very volatile range, but I don't think there's a breakout in either direction coming in the next week or so.
Now we are entering the end of the month of September, which normally a tough month. Can we count on the market to break a recent tradition?
You know, that's interesting. I think it has to do with two factors. Number one, what is the Fed and the Fed governors and the Fed presidents going to say in upcoming speeches in reference to the effects of these two storms? There's going to be a slight dip in GDP. The storms went through 2 of the 5 biggest states in terms of GDP. And then there's going to be a rebound when the rebuild begins. And the Fed needs to manage that in contrast to the prior plans they had for rate hikes. That's number one. Number two, do we get any sort of tax reform? I feel like the administration really wants this and really needs it prior to midterm elections. But if they don't get it, or any sort of it at all, then yes, it'll be a tough month for equities in September.
好的，感谢您收看本期的金石华尔街时刻，我们下期再会。